Okay, we're on page 207, sharpening your image. Now that you've adjusted the tonal values of your image, you'll want to apply some sharpening to the image. In this section, you'll discover how to use unsharpened masking. It is a confusing term, but is derived from the traditional pre-computer technique used to sharpen images. To simplify this example, you'll flatten the adjustment layer into the background layer. If you are an advanced user, you can avoid flattening by selecting the background layer, shift-clicking on the curves layer, then right-clicking and choosing Convert to Smart Object. This embeds the selected layers into your Photoshop file, but allows you to view and work with them as one layer. If further editing is needed, you can simply double-click on the Smart Object layer and the layers open in their own separate document. So just an FYI, we're not going to do that though. We're going to follow the book's instructions. So number 1, choose Flatten Image from the Layers panel menu. So right here's the layers and here's the panel menu. We're going to choose Flatten Image. Notice how the layers went away. Choose View Actual Pixels. The image may appear very large. You can pan the image by holding down the space bar and pushing the image around on the screen. Position the image so that you can see an area with detail, such as one of the eyes. Note that you should be in actual pixels view when using most filters, or you may not see accurate results on your screen. Hold down the spacebar and click and drag on the image area to adjust the position of the image in the window. Let's try that. Hold down spacebar and then click and drag. I guess we don't have to do that because we're already at full screen. So choose Filter, Convert for Smart Layers. Filter, Convert for Smart Layers. This step is unnecessary if you already converted your layers into a smart object, which we did not. If an Adobe Photoshop dialog box appears informing you that the layer is being converted into a smart object, click OK. Smart objects allow you to edit filters more freely. An icon appears in the lower right corner of the layer thumbnail, indicating that this is now a smart object. Right here, if it were bigger, we'd be able to see that. Choose Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask. Filter, Sharpen, Unsharp Mask. The Unsharp Mask dialog box appears. You can click and drag inside the preview pane to change the part of the image that appears there. Okay, let's read the box there at the bottom of page 208. Unsharp masking is a traditional film compositing technique used to sharpen images in an image, or sharpen edges in an image. The unsharp mask filter corrects blurring in the image, and it compensates for blurring that occurs during the resampling and printing process. Applying the unsharp mask filter is recommended whether your final destination is in print or online. The unsharp mask filter assesses the brightness levels of the adjacent pixels and increases their relative contrast. It lightens the light pixels that are located next to darker pixels as it darkens those darker pixels. You set the extent and range of lightening and darkening that occurs using the sliders in the unsharp mask dialog box. When sharpening an image, it's important to understand that the effects of the unsharp mask filter are far more pronounced on screen than they appear in high-resolution outputs such as a printed piece. In the unsharp mask dialog box, you have the following options. Amount determines how much the contrast of pixels is increased. Typically, an amount of 150% or more is applied, but this amount is very reliant on the subject matter. Overdoing unsharp mask on a person's face can be rather harsh, so that value can be set lower than 150%, as compared to an image of a piece of equipment where fine detail is important, where you might have it be 300% or more. Radius determines the number of pixels surrounding the edge pixels that are affected by sharpening. For high-resolution images, a radius between 1 and 2 is recommended. If you're creating oversized posters and billboards, you might try experimenting with larger values. Threshold determines how different the brightness values between 2 pixels must be before they're considered edge pixels and thus are sharpened by the filter. To avoid introducing unwanted noise into your image, a minimum threshold setting of 10 is recommended. So type 150 into the amount text box. Because this is an image of a child, you can apply a higher amount of sharpening without bringing out unflattering details. Click and hold on the preview pane to turn the preview off and on as you make the changes. And we can move it around to see. Type 1 in the radius text field and 10 in the threshold. Radius is 1, threshold is 10, they're already set. And then click OK. Choose File Save or Control S. Keep the file open. Because you use a Smart Filter feature, you can turn the visibility of the filter off and on at any time by clicking the visibility icon to the left of the Smart Filters in the Layers panel right here. We can turn it on. It's on right now. Right here, we click the eyeball. That's turning it off and on. Not much of a difference there. Comparing your image with the original. You can use the history panel in Adobe Photoshop for many functions. In this section, you'll use the history panel to compare the original image with your finished file. So if the history panel is not open, open it. Mine's open. It's right here. Make sure that you have the final step you perform selected in this case. It should be the Unsharp Mask filter. Right here. This one. If you have some extra steps because you were experimenting with the Smart Filter thumbnail, just click on the Unsharp Mask state in the history panel, which is what we did. Click on the Create New Document from Current State button at the bottom of the history panel. A new file is created, and we're in it right now. Click back on your original image, this one, and press Ctrl-0 to fit the image on your screen. Ctrl-0. Click on the original snapshot located at the top of the history panel. This returns you to the original state. Right here, this one. Select Window Arrange to Up Vertical. Zoom in to the area surrounding the small child to see that it appears almost as if a cast of color has been lifted from the image, producing a cleaner, brighter image. And I can use the move tool here to, or not move, I guess, the hand. I just want to pan over so I can see him. And I'm going to click here and I'm going to do Control-0 again. And I got the hand and I'm going to bring him over and you can see it's much brighter. Choose File Save and then File Close to close your 0701 work files. We're gonna File Close and then save it, yes. And then choose File Close for the Unsharp image. We're not going to save this one. And no. Congratulations, you finished the color correction part of this lesson. So taking care of red eye, we're going to start with that one in the next video.